Liverpool versus Manchester United is the biggest game in English football. These are my predictions. This has got a huge set of ramifications for both clubs. This game couldn't have arrived at a better time for Manchester United. Their form has been absolutely shocking. If this game had happened at the start of the season, I'm going 6-0. 7-0 to Liverpool. But you have to say in recent weeks, Manchester United have looked slightly better. Liverpool, on the other hand, have to win this game. You can't lose 4 in a row with a squad as deep with quality and experience as Liverpool have. And being at Anfield is obviously a huge advantage for Liverpool. But ultimately, this fixture has always had sides, whether Man United have been rubbish getting a result or Liverpool being rubbish and getting a result. It's a strange kind of quasi-derby in English football, and obviously the biggest game in English football. Let's just start off with Liverpool. They've got some big question marks. Dare I say it, they've got 5 or 6 fundamental things that they have to get right. I did a video yesterday on my channel. I said Liverpool have to go back to basics. For me, Arsenal, when they're trying to win the title this season, have to go above and beyond. They have to transcend what they've done in the last few seasons. They have to become a different kind of squad to go and win the Premier League title. They have to be more expansive. And Liverpool, for me, in the next few weeks, especially going into the next international break, with Arsenal having some very easy fixtures, dare I say it, they have to do the opposite. They have to go back into themselves. They have to be conservative. They have to be humble. They have to be workmanlike. I'm not even saying these Liverpool players are not being humble, because they're still working very hard for the side. But I think Arne Slot has got a duty in this game, and the Frankfurt game coming up, Brentford as well for Liverpool in the next few weeks, to go back to basics, to go back to working hard, keeping it simple, being conservative, being pragmatic, 4-2-3-1, not too many signings all coming in at once, and going back to a good league side, going back to a side that keeps clean sheets and stops it being a basketball match. And that's the first thing I have to say about Liverpool in this game, because Manchester United, I don't rate Amrin. I don't rate many aspects to Manchester United. But if you give Sesko a bouncing ball in the box, he's going to cause havoc. If you give Mbuemo the opportunity to run at your back line like maybe Estavio was doing for Chelsea in previous weeks, you're in a world of pain. Bruno Fernandes in this game last season was superb in the double pivot. It doesn't usually work, Bruno, in the double pivot, but he was everywhere against Liverpool last season. Give him space and time on the ball. It's going to be a world of pain for Arne Slot. So I actually view this game for Liverpool almost as an away fixture. They have to pretend they're going to Old Trafford. They have to be defensive. They have to be cautious. They have to be narrow-minded in this game. Now, if they score early and they get a couple of goals, because that could quite easily happen against Manchester United, then you can be expansive. But for me, they have to go back to basics. I drop Wirtz and I drop Alexander Isak, and people would say I'm crazy. He looks physically off of it. Wirtz, for me, has no confidence in the Premier League. Looks a touch better in the Champions League, despite that being a loss to Galatasaray. I'd go back to basics. Now, starting from the back line, you put Conor Bradley at right back if you can. I'm not entirely sure about his fitness, but he looks fit from the match previews that I've looked at. Get a naturalised right back in there who understands the Premier League. He's got a higher ceiling at right back in the next few weeks than Frimpong does. Let's be completely real. Maybe Frimpong in a back 5 when you get Konate back. Maybe Frimpong in Champions League games, whatever. But for me, Conor Bradley has to come back in. Kerkez at left back in this kind of game should be okay if he gets the correct protection. And Konate and Van Dijk, if they're both fit. Joe Gomez is still a fantastic player. Ahead of them is where it's so essential for Liverpool to get this right. Now, Gravenberch has picked up a hamstring injury. I'm not entirely sure if he's fit for the game. If he's not, it's a damning indictment on the pointless nature of World Cup qualifiers. I know the Dutch have to qualify still, but in the middle of a season, Gravenberch picking up an injury for the biggest game. I mean, it's crazy. If he isn't fit, Liverpool are even more of a world of pain. Let's just assume he starts. McAllister, Gravenberch, and then you throw in Szoboszlai. If it's not Gravenberch, Curtis Jones. And bring on Endo earlier in the game if you need to see out a 1-0 kind of result. Keep it simple. No Wirtz in the number 10. And play workman-like players. McAllister suffers when he's playing with Wirtz, in my honest opinion. There's too many spaces. There's too many gaps. Wirtz is off trying to do things. And that's his right, because he's a talented footballer. But playing him in the number 10 against Manchester United could cause all sorts of problems. If you play Szoboszlai, Curtis Jones, all these guys, they're going to run and they're going to outrun a two-man midfield from Manchester United. And that's how I think Liverpool should have a good opportunity in this game. Then you play someone like Gakpo off the left, Salah off the right, and Ekitike down the middle. Let Ekitike go back to goal-scoring form. He's in better form than Isak. We can debate if he's got a higher ceiling than Isak. I think he actually could do as well, by the way. Don't shove him on the left. Gakpo's better off the left as well. And have more of a naturalised, it's almost a boring team. You want to see Wirtz and Isak and Ekitike and Salah. You want to see all these guys together. Of course you do. But it's not going to work. I even think if you can't play Gakpo, play Chiesa. Seriously, off the left. I think Chiesa's been superb for Liverpool so far this season when he's come on. But for me, Liverpool have to go back to being a touch more boring. Manchester United have got Mazraoui coming back, who he's probably been one of Man United's best players, and he's a kind of right back, centre back, whatever you want to call him. He's a solid player. Bruno in midfield, I think, works in this kind of game if Liverpool don't get their midfield correct. The big one for me is Lamens. I thought he was absolutely superb against Sunderland. Now, Man United only ever pick up wins against sides with 10 men or who are newly promoted and have just been in League One more recently than the Premier League. So Sunderland, I'm not going to give massive credit to Manchester United too much, but they did look better, and Lamens pulled off some good saves. He looks like a keeper that can come for things. He looks like a keeper that is respected by his back line, that can communicate with his back line. It's not just about shot stopping. Onana was making terrible mistakes individually, but Onana's kind of communication style with the back line with Manchester United, you could see it as a fan watching, that these guys don't even know how to communicate, let alone him pulling off saves that he has to make, and he puts it into his own net. So Lamens last week basically did both things to a very, very high level. I think he'll make them a lot more assured. You have to remember, I'm massively critical of Manchester United's formation. I have been for day dot under Ruben Amorim. But if they do nick a goal early, they are a back five team. They'll go back to a back five. It's going to be very, very hard. I think Sesko could definitely nick a goal. I thought he looked decent against Sunderland. He looks powerful. He looks like he's got legs. He looks like the physical stature I thought Gyökeres would have, not knowing the difference between their height. Sesko he must look, 10 inches taller than this guy. Sesko, absolutely massive. And then Mbeumo, I talked about it at the start of the video. Mbeumo's probably been their best new signing. Running, particularly at Kerkez, could be a nightmare for Arne Slot, especially if Kerkez hasn't really, developed in the international break and kind of is coming into this game with good form. Maybe Andy Robertson could play. That's another debate. Ultimately, I think Manchester United will score in this game, and I think Manchester United will cause Liverpool problems, but you have to go back to the basics of football. Salah on one side could easily score a hat-trick in this game. Ekitike is banging in goals. On average, what is he? 1 in 1, 1 in 2 since he's been coming to Liverpool, playing games. Don't shaft him off the left. Play him down the middle, linking up with Salah. Keep it minimal, keep it simple, and just outpower Manchester United in the most boring sense. Look, as football fans, we want it to be entertaining. We want it to be Hollywood. We want it to be up and down the pitch. It certainly has been when Liverpool were playing Crystal Palace and getting smashed. Galatasaray and getting smashed. Chelsea, that was pure cinema. That was Martin Scorsese. But if Liverpool are going to win this game, again, they have to go back to conservatism. They have to go back to being a powerful outfit. Taking a leaf out of Arsenal's book and using physical kind of oppression to push a side back and not be open. Try and outrun Manchester United. Do the basics better than Manchester United, and Liverpool will win this game 2-1. That's my final prediction. But I'm not. This isn't a cop-out, because sometimes I do prediction videos where I think there's no world one side can win it. There is a world Manchester United can nick something out of this game. 1,000,000%. I'm not sitting on the fence. I think Liverpool will do it. They're only 1 point off Arsenal. Lots of positives still in this campaign. Liverpool started off very, very well in terms of results and mentality, etc. I think they can get back to that. But Arne Slot, I mean, this guy has to come up with some ideas in a big, big way. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Give me your score predictions. The biggest game in English football. Seismic for both clubs this season. I'll see you very, very soon.